Mouni Roy from me, Hrishi K, and everybody at Radio 1. Thank you for talking to us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I have to say this, that, in Gold, there was this whole classic look of the classic Indian beauty, and you're back again doing that in Raw. It must feel special that directors go to you for, the quintessential classic beauty.
But yeah, I feel very fortunate. But this is not like a classical, typical kind of a role. She's a very simple girl, works in a bank. It's just that the glimpses of me that you guys have seen, it's from two songs, so which is why I'm wearing a sari. And that was one thing Robbie sir was very clear about, is when you are making a period film, the outfits, the bhusha has to be in accordance to that era. So that's been kept in mind very, very well, which is why the slight waves in the hair or the sari is important. But it's a very like different character. So I'm waiting for everybody to watch.
Lovely. So does that mean that your styling when you're in the bank is a lot different than what it is in these songs?
Slightly, yeah. I'm wearing more salwar kameez, and it's more kind of everyday comfortable clothing.
I know you can't give away too much of your character because it is intrinsic. Because it's intrinsic to the role, to the overall scheme of things in the film. But John's gone out on a limb to say that it's just exceptional working with you. And how's it been? Just hanging with him. He's such a great guy.
Such a really nice guy, which is why he just says these things. But I also have noticed with all these people. Actually, I'm very, very fortunate to be working with him, because all these people who are such big superstars. They're so humble, and there's so much humility, and they give in so much to the roles that they do, and they bring so much spontaneity to the role only because they're so experienced, and they know what their director really want. Like I could be going through a particular struggle trying to get into the skin of my character, but when we rehearsed, or when I saw him the way that he was on set, you realize why they are where they are. And he's such a big star, and he's so humble and so nice, and he talks to everybody so nicely, and there's a cheer kind of an environment on set. And because if everything is easy breezy, it makes the work more fun. And when you are less nervous and more excited about portraying a particular character, then you can pay more attention and do it more naturally, organically.
Also, Mouni, it must be quite an experience for you, going off an Akshay Kumar set onto a John set, because they're such diagonally different kind of people. That's a whole different experience. With Akshay, how was it?
Really, though, they're very similar. In fact, other people are very, very, like on the other sets that I've been on, they are very, very different, but they are very simple. Like when you meet them initially, you're in awe of the big, huge stars that they are, and the moment they start talking and start mingling with everybody, you realize they're such simple people. And with because it's Raw, and I'll talk about Johnson specifically, he has this angry young man image. All the films that you've seen, actually still you find like he dabbles in comedy like all the time, and he'd come on comedy shows and stuff like that. But with John sir, you feel like you've always seen that intense angry young man image. And if you're not from the industry, and if you haven't gotten any opportunity to talk, like I had never even met him before Raw, so I was very scared, and I was like very nervous as to I felt a little intimidated because of the aura that he has. But you talk to him one day and you realize like he's so normal, and he's so willing. All that they want is to create a good piece of work. They all know that we are making art here, and it's filmmaking, and they give it their 100%. So you're also as willing and as pumped up when you're on a set like that.
It's very beautifully put. I mean, also, back to back, there's so many releases, so many films that you're shooting for. There's Made in China with Rajkumar. There is a Bole Chodiya, which you just signed with Nawaz. And now these two films back to back. And Brahmastra, of course. Don't you think you should have, you're such a massive star on television. You could have easily put yourself out into the cinema world a little earlier. Don't you think, you could have done that earlier?
Not really. It didn't happen. It's not that I wasn't offered any movie or script. It was just, it didn't make any sense to me. I take a lot of pride in the fact that I'm educated and my parents have given me a good upbringing. Why am I mentioning this is because I knew earlier on that, like you said, like my TV positioning in TV was very good throughout. Whether I did a Kyunki Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi, whether I did Shava Shava, then Zara Nach Ke Dikhai, won that dance reality show. Then I went on to doing Mahadev, and then Junoon on Life OK. Then I did Jhalak Dikhla Ja, then Nagin 1 and Nagin 2. I've always had a very good positioning in TV. Obviously, Nagin became the way it became, and then people just suddenly started noticing me. But even before that, I was quite at home. TV feels home. I'm a very proud TV actor. It has given me everything that I want. It didn't make any sense for me to just come, do one film and then go back there. It didn't make sense for me to leave home and I felt lost. But with Gold, what happened is immediately after I finished, after I got Gold, I was still contemplating on doing Nagin 3. But then immediately Brahmastra came along. And I was still like, okay, this is a negative role, and Nagin is still too big of a project for me to let go, because I'm not one of those people. I'm a person of disbelief in nerves, and I like to I find fiction very alluring and interesting only in my literature and books. Otherwise, I like to be a practical person. So I still want to do Nagin 3. But then immediately after, when Raw and Made in China happened, I was like, okay, fine, this is a window. I need to take this, because this time doesn't come back again and again. And that's when I realized that, okay, fine, let me make this transition and let me take the break and do. Otherwise, I was very, very happy doing TV, and I was doing the best of work there. I was called for the best of the choreographies in every show that I was getting called for. So
Mouni, these are huge career decisions. So, do you have like a BFF, a go-to person, that 2 a.m. call where you can discuss these things, saying, I've been offered a Gold, a Brahmastra,
I have very few friends. I call every single one of them. But I do what I feel like.
There's got to be like 1 or 2 people you really, really trust, like your inner circle. Who would they be?
That's what I'm saying. I have 4 or 5 people like that, and I really, really trust them. But ultimately, it has to come from within as to what you want to make of your life. So if you can take suggestions, but anybody who's confused about making a decision, you should do your own plus minuses, addition and subtractions in your head with what the good or bad that can come out of a particular situation, and then take the call yourself. So you don't have anybody to blame later on.
Did you travel for Raw? Did you travel to other destinations to shoot? Since we can't talk about your character, but any other like interesting shooting locations?
Gujarat, that's it.
Where in Gujarat was this?
Ahmedabad, yeah.
That's all you got? Not even Kashmir?
No, I haven't traveled to Kashmir, no.
So what's Robbie's approach as a filmmaker? I mean, he's done a film before, he's done lots of ad films before, so is he the kind of guy who says, do your own thing and this is my brief, or does he guide you through every step of the way?
He guides you every step of the way. But having said that, I am a completely director's actor, because obviously we need to do our own research and figure out if it's set in 1971, how would the people talk, how would they walk, and if these are the people in a particular setup, what their body languages would be. All that homework you can go and do, but you have to be open, because ultimately it's always better if you follow one man's vision, and it's more it has more spunk. Your character will always have more spunk, something new. You will be versatile, because ultimately you're not you're not constantly doing what you know how to do best. You're doing what your director thinks will suit your best, or the character, because ultimately he's written it, he's lived with it, he's done all this research for years before he has even given the script to you. So you can bring in, obviously we all are going to be us, because it's us, the actors are the ones who are playing the characters, but the newness or the difference comes from following your director's vision, is what I feel.
Mouni, are you an espionage person at all? I mean, do you read espionage novels? If you've seen thriller espionage films, do you enjoy the genre at all, or are you not that kind of girl?
Not really. I have read Agatha Christie earlier.
Which is actually murder.
Poirot. I really like Poirot. And Ian Fleming also, a lot of them I've read, but it's more to do with classics.
There's Bond, there's Hercule Poirot, and there's Agatha Christie. So that's quite interesting.
Also, I think 1 or 2. Because there used to be small books. Otherwise, I like fiction, but I'm not a very thriller. I like them, I like watching them, but I have not read many.
So would that be like romantic fiction that you read more?
Not just, every kind. I like the Indian English writer. I love science fiction. I love what was I read Strange the Dreamer recently. I'm completely into all these, not really motivational, but there are these audiobooks, Power of Now and The Mastery of Love, and I have been reading and all those things. I'm going to start Lassitude of Longing. I think that's my next book. So yeah.
Awesome. So here's John, who's...
I love, that's what I was thinking, who is that? I love Murakami. I was obsessed with Murakami all of last year. I read all three of on 1Q84, Dance, Kafka on the Shore. So yeah, I was like, wow, why am I forgetting?
You should meet Ayushmann Khurrana. He's done the whole anthology and he loves Murakami. Right?
Really, me too. Love him.
So yeah, there's John. I imagine most of your scenes play out with him because there's a romantic interest. Are you in a position to say which particular character, since he plays so many characters in the film?
Okay, let's say Romeo, but you have to watch.
Fair enough. Do you have any scenes with Sikandar Kher at all, or is it just any other character actors that you get to work with?
I worked with Jackie sir, like 1 or 2 scenes, and it was brilliant. He has so much swag. He's so easy breezy, and he's just such a gentleman, but so charming. So
Did you get called Bidu, Mouni?
No, I wasn't. He meets me really, really nicely, and he's just such a kind-hearted person.
But even Bidu is like his term of endearment.
I know, but he was not telling me, so I haven't really heard. I have heard him say that on set. So,
is there a travel destination that you went to over the last couple of years that was really cool, and you said, "Wow, this is it"?
I've traveled a lot. Last year I went to Greece. Before that I went to Bulgaria. We were there 40 days for Brahma.
What was so amazing about Greece? I mean, what did you love most?
The landscapes. There's not much to. You can only romanticize the landscapes. Otherwise, it was quite windy. And Mykonos is beautiful. It's white, and I went with all my girlfriends, and it was my birthday, so it was quite nice. Quite
cool.
Yeah. Athens was. Everybody said Athens is slightly dry and all, but I love history. So Acropolis was beautiful. All the stories about Zeus and Athena, and like it's no one god, two gods, many stories. One Athena, many stories. So it's like that.
Do you like adventure sport? Have you ever done any adventure sport?
I have done the highest jump bungee in the world. In
Are you serious? Where was this?
Yeah, Macau Sky Towers. They don't even harness you. They bind your feet, and then when they were tying me up, this person asked me, "Do you know how many people have died so far, Mouni?" I said, "No, how many?" He said, "None. Today might be the first." I was crying, and it was so cold. It was -6-7 degree. I felt like my tears were freezing on my face, and then I was like, "So you have to walk. You reach somewhere, and there's a round kind of a thing on the top of the building, and then they just drop it, and so you have to walk the distance, and then you have to jump." I wasn't jumping. They just they threw the weight, so I was literally pushed down. I thought my death wish was coming true, but it's so liberating. Oh my God, you love the high after 5 seconds. The free fall is scary.
What kind of work do you see yourself doing in cinema? I mean, if you look at the next 10 years, are you a moment-to-moment kind of person, or do you have a 5, 6, 7-year plan in terms of the work that you want to do? I mean, you're going great guns considering how good Gold and Raw are as far as scripts are concerned.
No, that's the only thing that I want to do. I really want to find good scripts for myself. I hope God and our filmmakers are kind enough to think I can play those roles, and that's it. If you ask about my dream role, I would really like to play like a Nartaki. I'd really like to do something like one Hindi Broadway musical kind of a thing where there is Kathak and lots of dance drama, Katha, and so that's something I really want to do. But otherwise, I just want to do things that excite me, and then they challenge me, because you end up surprising yourself. Initially you feel like, how are you going to do it, and it is not going to happen, and then it happens, and you get to learn something and grow more as an actor.
And you are a trained Kathak dancer, aren't you? Yeah?
Very, very briefly, but I have danced. My training in school or whatever that I have done since childhood, it's my inclination has been towards Indian classical more, because I felt like it came to me slightly more naturally than the other forms of dancing. But I love contemporary as well, and Bollywood.
Mouni, there's a lot of talk about saving the planet. We were speaking to Afroz and his team who were cleaning Versova Beach, and they're talking about the disastrous amounts of plastic that's there in the seas. What is it that you think we can all do, small things, to save the planet?
First of all, we really need to just be responsible and not throw it. I mean, imagine if all of us don't throw it, nothing gets thrown. So that is obviously not happening, and it's so unfortunate, when you travel and when you see all these natural we don't have any natural habitat to go to. It's so sad. Bombay being such a progressive city, a home for so many millions of people, we don't have any jungles. And I come from West Bengal. We are tropical evergreen there. We used to go like berry picking and mushroom picking. There used to be natural jharnas and what. You feel so sad that Bombay, there is just only thing there is this pollution, and same with Delhi. Like it's just like I don't know, smog. So to start with, is if we just do our bit, I think that will help a lot. But people are so uneducated. It's a lot of it is like your upbringing is also, I feel, you're very responsible. We don't teach our children the basic of, and I don't mean just like people like you and me, but they will help themselves a lot, I believe, if they can follow a certain rule. It's like me dropping a tissue paper here and actually getting up and finding a dustbin in the room and throwing it there. So it's small initiative maybe, but we say so much and we don't do anything. Then I feel weird to even say anything because we actually don't do anything.
Mouni, what was a tougher part to do? Was gold tougher, or was raw tougher, and why?
Both were equally, they're different roles, so they're not equal to one another. Gold, people thought I'm a Bengali, so it would be very natural for me to speak in that accent. It wasn't like that at all. I've lived in Delhi, my Hindi is very good, and I initially when I was rehearsing with the diction teacher also, not that I'm rehearsed for many days, a day or two, I was sounding very unnatural, It was almost like I was trying to be that Bengali who will talk in Hindi. My mum really helped. So I called my mother and I asked her to speak in Bangla and Hindi, and Hindi is very bad. So when she talks, then you kind of realize a person who doesn't know how to talk in Hindi would talk in Hindi. It's like, "Tumhara matha kharab ho gaya," is a person who knows Hindi but is trying to. It's like, "Matha kharab ho gaya hai tumhara, raat ka daru utra nahi hai." So there is a very organic way of saying. People who do not know how to talk in Hindi, they'll talk in Hindi. So that really helped. And so to remember every single time when I was saying the dialogues was the challenge. And I think it helped that I was a Bengali, so I've always seen my mother or other people behaving in a certain way, wearing those saris, and I come from a small town, so I've seen it a lot. And in Raw, it was just, and she was so like, she was loud and talk so loudly and irritating housewife, and this is just, there is no comparison. It's a completely different character. She just like probably speaks slightly through her eyes. He didn't want my volume raised. He just, everything had to be so subtle, and so it's just she's a different girl, she's a different person, and I hope it's coming through.
Of course it'll come through. You're right. Even though your bongs normally have a problem with this thrilling and pulling, but your Hindi is so good. You never make that mistake with the keys and the cars. Is it because of your upbringing in Delhi? You think so? Yeah?
No, it's not Delhi. It's also because Delhi helped a lot, definitely. But I have studied in CBSE and ICSE. So our first and second language used to be English and Hindi. So school really helped. Also, I'm a literature student. My bent of mind is only English language or Hindi language. So I have always paid a lot of attention to grammar. And like in my Hindi, English, sociology, history, geography, I used to get 90 plus. I was 90 plus student. I used to get 56 in maths. 60, like maximum. Pre-board, I got a 23 in 10th. My father wanted me to repeat the year. And so obviously I started crying and didn't want to study with like my juniors. And then I told my principal, sir, he used to love me. He called my father and said, "No, let her give the exam, she'll pass." And I passed. But so that was the problem. So I couldn't understand any calculation or mathematics. So I love things you like doing. I think you pay more attention to them and it comes naturally to you. You'll always see it, like the kind of books you like reading, you'll finish them faster than the others, the genre that you don't like much.
So if you weren't an actress, what would you be? Would you be doing research in English or teaching somewhere?
I don't know. So I am a first class in English honors from Miranda House. I did my MA in Mass Comm from Jamia. And I did my dissertation also on Habib Tanvir Indian Street Theatre. So I'd probably finish my MPhil and PhD first. And then my father wanted me to be an IAS. So I'd probably be thinking about that.
Wow, you're super smart, yeah? So your favorite Shakespeare play would be what? Did you study that in ICSE? Or?
Macbeth, Othello, Antony and Cleopatra. I love Tempest, like it's a short story, but there are lots. Much Ado About Nothing, A Midsummer Night's Dream, Shrew, and what was the name? Taming of the Shrew. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. What's on your phone? What are you listening to? I mean, Bulle has a great song. I haven't heard of Robbie Shergill since Bulla Ki Jana, and he is coming back.
I know. What am I listening to right now? It's a very frivolous song, but I really, really love it. She's sweet like cola, cola, sweet, sweet sugar cola. That song. That's been my favorite right now.
What else? What's on your playlist? Yeah, like your go-to playlist.
Makeba. God, there's a lot of Hindi songs also. Afreen. There's a lot of Hindustani music. I love Hindi, classical, and yeah.
Mouni Roy, you're lovely. Thank you so much for this interview. And well, I hope Raw becomes a massive, massive hit at the box office.
I hope so too. I hope all the films I'm doing becomes massive hit, because anyway, yeah.